Hello and welcome everybody back to the Dumbass class with a malevolent laugh. Would that be the right word? Possibly.
Very malevolent.
Malicious, malevolent.
Malicious, that's the word I was looking for actually, with a malicious laugh. Welcome back to our tabletop RPG show where we play Dark Heresy 2nd edition. This is Man on Monster, I believe.
Of Man and Monster.
Yes, and this is actually episode 11 of our series.
Of season 3 alone, right?
Certainly is.
Yes.
So Jay, would you like to take us back into the world?
Yes. Well, when we last left off, illustrious Inquisitor and his warband and the ridiculously overpowered soldiers he brought with them managed to secure a space station and the planet that it belonged to, after having discovered that apparently all life had been swept clean from it by appeared to be, at first initial speculation, to be Dark Eldar, but on further inspection probably were the Necrons that basically swept the entire planet clean. They recovered a Magos of the Magos Joras, the Mechanicus equivalent of the Inquisition, that told them that the artifact that he was sent to study on this planet, that was presumably or rumored to be Archaeotech, was actually a Necron beacon that the fuckers had managed to activate just as he got there with his fleet, which resulted in the planet being watered by the Necrons because they responded to the beacon. What then happened was the Magos' distress call accidentally drew the Necrons back. They were bravely and valiantly fought off by the players, as well as their army that they had present, and then went on and then sent down squads to recover the Magos. The Magos then gave them access to a the Magos then gave them access to a special locked-off part of the space station that was only accessible by high-ranking members of the Magos Joras, which, when they opened it, apparently held inside it a stasis capsule, but inside it an Inquisitor that Magness recognized by name. We are now back at the Storm Shield, Magnus' flagship for now. And this is where we will begin again. I will give it to you, the Magos, Joras, and Felicia have returned from the station after apparently having studied everything they could from the records there, and having found most of it to be uninteresting information.
Could I add an addendum onto that? I'd like Brother Felicia and the tech priest to look into what defences the shipyard has. How many Gellerfields does it have? Does it have macro battery defences? Are they still operational? Because my thinking is our ship has one void shield to protect it. If we could use the space station as a, temporary fort in this system, it might be best for us to dock with it and,
The station doesn't have many outwardly offensive weaponry, but it does have a relatively powerful void shield generator and a relatively solid point defense grid. Also relatively thick armor, but as far as outwardly hostile weaponry goes, that would most often be provided by a fleet in orbit, an auxiliary defense fleet or something.
The one that's probably currently inside the sun.
Okay then. So once Magnus is informed that the Magos and Brother Felicia are back on board, he would probably send a message to Brother Felicia to come to his office to discuss basically what's going on. If there was any information, like why is the dude in the box, or why is the...
I guess you get a knock on your door.
Enter, please. And you'll notice that Magness is, as you enter, that he is looking through the big book of evil, and he's very close to the front pages. Brother Felicia, please take a seat. How was your investigation on the shipyard?
Uninteresting. There was nothing of any value that we could locate that would determine why he was there.
I see. That's troubling. I'd like to know more about the man, because and Magness flips the pages until he comes to the second page in the book, after the front page, the first page, where it has his signature written by Inquisitor, his name, and he kind of spins the book round so you can see it clearly. And a person who has created such works as this, I find it hard to believe would be willingly placed inside of stasis like that.
Perhaps the place had come under attack in the past, and it was an attempt to hide him.
Possibly. I mean, it's always an option, but well, it's this Magos Juris. Why are they hiding an Inquisitor behind their doors? This troubles me, this fact. Brother Felicia, and Magness kind of moves forwards. He's got his elbows on his table. In your honest opinion, what do you think of the Magos? Was he and his order? Are they to be trusted? Are they an ally to us, or are they someone that we need to keep in the dark at all costs?
They serve to prevent the quest for knowledge leading to tech heresy. I do not know if they've been corrupted. I at least believe he has not. My senses have shown no signs of any such taint. The rest of his people, I do not know. I can only assume that they might have been, or that they're following orders that we do not know and do not understand. Seeing who was in there, I can understand the lack of inquisitorial access codes being allowed on the door, but not the why he's in there.
You see, that's... Brother Felicia, that worries me more so. This Inquisitor should not be locked behind another... I don't understand why he's locked away from inquisitorial access. I mean, I could see that individuals would want him taken care of, but it just seems odd to me that he would be, and by the Lord Inquisitor's order as well. You know as well as I what the Lord Inquisitor has been up to, and yet by his order, the Magos Geros have imprisoned another Inquisitor.
Perhaps they disagreed with methods.
Well, I'm asking you if you trust this organization, if you trust the Magos, if we are able to bring him in to the fold. I
trust.
I asked you to spend time with the man so that you could give me a judge on this call.
I trust that the man, and is at the very least the man, is honest and willing to commit the work that he is supposed to. keeping in line the technology of the Imperium. Making sure that secrets best kept unearthed, best kept hidden, are never unearthed once more. The organization, that I do not know. One man and as little exposure to the Magos Juris as I've had makes it a bit more difficult. But the man himself, at least, I believe I can trust him, and I believe you can as well.
Can I roll scrutiny on this? Because Magness is really concerned why an Inquisitor is locked behind... Like, we know the Lord Inquisitor's up to some dodgy ass shit. And Magness really needs to try and find allies, and...
Scrutiny Fellowship, then?
Yeah, I think Magness really would. He would look for any telltale signs, I'm afraid. I'll fate it. It's important. Magness needs to know, can he trust this Magos Juris? Come on. No, it's not giving it to me. Okay.
To you, Felicia seems genuine in her trust of the Magos. This specific Magos, that is.
Very well, Brother Felicia. I will take what you've told me in. We will I'm confused as all hell as how we're supposed to introduce him lightly into the scenario. I hope you understand my issues here, Brother Felicia. If we tell the wrong person about this, it could be all of our undoings.
It could undo the Imperium, Inquisitors at war with one another. No matter how it's looked at, it could be seen on one end as a gross misuse of power for one Inquisitor to lock up another one, and then, or it could be viewed as the Magos Juris overreaching and claiming orders.
Exactly. And who's to say the Lord Inquisitor doesn't just say that the Magos Juris made up those orders?
We'll be balancing our knives head with this information from here on out.
Indeed. Another thing I wish to speak to you about. I noticed your displeasure on the station about us acquiring the xenose equipment. I'm not entirely sure why you have changed your opinion on spoils of war as they are.
It is a matter of technology, Magness. Xenos tech cannot be trusted. It contains secrets that, again, are best kept hidden, unused, out of line of sight. Secrets that once will have, records seem to have indicated, was the fall of the Imperium. We are the way we are because of such heretical design.
Bro Felicia, now, for one, I will bring up that you have salvaged equipment from the battlefield before and traded it to the Inquisition to aid you in requisitioning war gear. As you can see, and as you have always seen, I do not use xenos equipment. It is affront to the Omnisire, as I do believe, but at the same time, we cannot be beholden to the Lord Inquisitor forever. And if a Magos Biologus wishes to have one of these weapons to test new serums so that soldiers can overcome the poisons that the weapons use, then I am only too happy to allow him access to those types of equipment. You must understand, I do not take this equipment to use it as a first choice. But at the same time, I have enough knowledge to know that, for example, should we need to assassinate someone who has a larger than normal amount of power, for us to go in with lasers and power fields and plasma, these are all Imperial weapons. But should one of my acolytes deem it that they would be willing to use this equipment, then I would allow them for the benefit of the Imperium, for our enemies to think that the assassinor was a xenose to aid us. I would allow that, but do not get my intentions wrong. I do not look at these equipments as better than my Imperial counterpart. As we have seen, my Imperial power sword is without doubt better than the xenose equivalent, at least as far as I am to be made aware. I just do not want you thinking that these arms are to be given to our own soldiers. That's not my intent.
I understand perfectly, Magnus. It does not make that we are collecting such technology and storing it any better.
Then what did you think you were doing when you made Gregorius that xenose blade before? You did that only too willingly. In fact, you made weapons for all of us, and do you not keep yours with you now?
I do not. Had you checked my quarters, you'd have noticed that it's kept under lock and key. As a material study, not as a technology, and as a low-tech weapon, it does not have a pattern. Such designs are an affront to the patterns the Imperium uses.
So it is perfectly fine for you to store xenose materials, but for an Inquisitor to store xenose equipment for further study when needed by an Imperial servant, that is an affront.
Magnus, now I believe you're intentionally twisting my view of the situation.
No, Brother Felicia, I'm trying to get you to understand. You cannot hold on to the belief that it is fine for one but not another. I do not want this equipment getting into the hands of regular Imperial citizens. That's not my intent. But should the day come when I need a favor from a member of the Magos Biologus, for example, for the poison scenario, I would like to be able to not have to crawl to the Lord Inquisitor to ask for items of use. I would like to be able to assist privately. As I said, these items are under lock and key. They are not left in my private armory. They are not stored where idle hands can make issue of them. But that is all I really wish to bring up. I'm sure you have many duties to contend with, unless there's anything that you would like to ask of me.
No, nothing. I'll be going now.
But of course, Magnus gives you a curt bow a curt nod.
I give the equivalent, except it's in the fullest fuck you that can be done in the polite method.
What would Magness know that? Like,
Isn't he a noble?
Well, yeah, but are you making it that obvious?
But it's probably along the lines of, I'm actually giving you the sign of the Omnissiah.
Yeah, but Magness isn't that.
Something that Magnus has told her before not to do, because it's ceremony.
I don't know. Roll scrutiny?
Yeah, I'll roll scrutiny to see if I get the meaning. Because, wow, Jesus just does not want... No, Magnus doesn't actually get the meaning. He's just like, okay, Brother Felicia, carry on with your hallowed works.
Also, if Magnus does ever go check upon the knife, it's had tests on it for material study. It'll have marks for where she's like scraped bits off.
Magnus doesn't check on his acolyte's room. I mean, does Magnus give off that impression that he's got all of your rooms bugged? I mean,
we're on his ship, and we were on Alona's ship, and Felicia assumed the ship is still bugged. Just Magnus hasn't figured out where the controls are yet.
Well, so, to be honest with you, if Magnus, and if it's part of the ship, then he would probably have been told, oh yes, by the way, all the rooms have bugs. He would have removed them out of his acolyte's rooms. So out of you guys, you're all trusted acolytes to him. You know, we joined the Inquisition together, or we were enlisted together, or, well, except for Brother Felicia, a couple of weeks later on. He would have the bugs removed out of your rooms, because it's not... He hasn't been betrayed enough times to be listening into his A-team's shit, you know.
There's also the thing we're all kind of combat brothers for blood brothers in combat, so if there is no trust, there is no team.
But once Felicia's left, Magnus will microbead to Sister Sarah. Sister Sarah, can you please look in? I don't know if we'll have the resources aboard. Yeah, you may have to research how you're going to find the information to research, but I need to know about, and Magnus will say the Inquisitor's name, because I'm not on my notes.
I assume you are referring to Elzak Megra, the guy we
Yes.
saw in the...
Yes, if you could, that would be a great help to me.
I can certainly try. Wasn't he the author of that book of yours?
Yes, he was. Which is why I'm very confused as to why he is currently housed, imprisoned by the Magos Jerus. These are very confusing times, and I would like some answers to my bewilderment.
I'll see what I can come up with. But if he really was locked away by the order of the Lord Inquisitor, then well, this may be a very difficult information to get.
True, but you have authority to use my authority, if that makes sense. Do whatever you can.
I'll try not to ruin your credibility.
Don't worry about that. Magnus would also comm Latilla to find out where she is, but then he would go and speak to her in person.
Medical lab. You should, even without calling Little, you would probably know she's been spending a lot of time in her medical lab. So.
Trying in vain to fix her nose.
She is fulfilling her, well, bloodlust needs by, opening, closing, breaking, putting back together, and breaking again corpses, and doing other stuff that she's doing.
Nice.
I should probably get the thing from one of the books, the talent for her xenose anatomy knowledge, but not yet. She's there having fun.
Latilla, I can see you're taking out some of your frustrations. Glad to see you're feeling a bit better.
Oh, hello, Magness. Indeed I am. Well, it brings me a lot of joy breaking apart this filthy xeno, but what can I do for you? As she says as she's taking away her medical gloves and tossing them in the bin.
I've had a conversation with Brother Felicia, and she tells me that she believes that the Magos, in particular, the one from the, it was very confusing, the Magos Juris. Well, she believes that we can trust him, that the idea of bringing him in as an ally would not be, a bad idea. I personally would like your input on this as well.
Maybe it's just me being me, but I don't fully trust that Magus, and unfortunately, Brother Felicia, though skilled in what she does, she is still highly attached to her order, to the Mechanicus. So she might be biased to be more willing to trust and accept the Magus. I, for one, don't really trust that guy. As far as we know, we have no knowledge of why the Inquisitor Elzak was trapped inside the organization. Can you truly believe him?
Well, I'm going to attempt to spend some time with him and see if I can get the caliber of the man, but at the moment, no. I want my acolyte's input, but at the same time, this information is so devastating that how do you bring someone into the fold slowly? Gaining allies is going to be extremely difficult.
It is, but sometimes it's better. It's best to take a while before we get allies. That way we know we can trust them. So far, there are very few people we know we can trust. And, like I said, I don't know. Call it my gut feeling or my paranoia, but there's something off with that Magus.
Well, by all means, we're going to be spending some time with him. I don't want us leaving this sector until we at least get some information from outside. I'd like to hear back from the Lord Inquisitor, but any sector governors that are willing to send reinforcements to this sector, I'd be more than happy to acquire at the moment. Also, until the Magos is gone, Synthesis will have to remain locked away. the equipment acquired from the station. I had a conversation with Brother Felicia, and I feel I need to make my points made. I do not wish my acolytes to use this equipment, openly or otherwise. If we are to use it to acquire new war gear, fair enough. If we are to use it to attempt to assassinate someone, but make it look like Imperial hands, fair enough. But, and Magness kind of gives you a look. Please do not let Brother Felicia see you wielding the weapons on the battlefield, unless there are specific circumstances.
Magnus, I'm probably one of the most flexible sisters of battle you ever see. But I have yet to use one of the xenose weapons. I was aware I never used it ever, but still, I am flexible enough to know that we have to adapt to survive. And like it or not, these heretical artifacts are still a valuable resource to some people in the Imperium. So long as we're using it correctly and not allowing, well, civilians or any low-ranking soldier get their hands on one of these. And, well, like you said, so long as we reuse in specific situations, it should be fine.
Magnus actually has like a little relieved look on his face. It's just like, I'm glad our minds are alike in this situation. It could have been awfully difficult if it had been the other way round.
Should just smile.
Pardon me, Miss Sister Latilla. Have you seen the Inquisitor? There you are. Greetings.
Yes.
I come to bring a communique from the Astropathic Choir regarding a response you sent to Lord Inquisitor Electo. Explicitly ordered to not approach or open the vault. That's all.
Thank you very much. That was most informative.
I'm sorry, it cut for me. Did she say what about what vault?
Not to open the vault.
No, with Velzak?
Too little, too late.
Hey, I kept him in stasis. I didn't wake him up.
That is true.
Well, that's a predicament.
Yep. Magnus lights a low stick, takes a real long drag and just like blows out staring at the ground, just like, yep.
No, Magnus, if they ask, Latilla says as she's washing her hands, you just have to say what vault. And she smiles as she's washing her hands. There is still a bloody body on one of her tables.
Magnus looks at it in like disgust and did you learn anything or just have a good time and breaking things?
Oh yes, these creatures have several weak points that can be, well, exploited.
Excellent.
Like for instance, Latilla will move close to the body, take basically a pencil and point. This is where this creature's genitals are. If you hit here, he's probably going to be in excruciating pain.
Ah, that's a very odd position for them to be placed, but important information. I'll make sure I use that in the future.
You know, if you ever acquire one as a prisoner, it would be a lot of fun to, well, torture one for information. If we ever need that.
I'm sure we will keep that in mind. Well, I shall leave you to your important work.
Thank you, Magnus. It's always a pleasure having a visit from you. If you need me, just know that I will always be here.
Very well. And Magnus curt bow, and he leaves. Is there anyone else that he needs to talk to at the minute? I would like the old man to do some stuff, but the issue is that him doing stuff can...
Oh yeah, speaking of which...
The old man is probably being taken care of one of the best facilities, so...
You get a message that the old man's awake again, he has already left the infirmary.
Lovely.
Well... God damn it, old man. I'll leave him to his business. He's probably going to go and get drunk. Oh, actually, no, I do need to find him. God, by the throne. Magnus microbeats. Old man, can you hear me?
No.
Excellent. Listen, I'm glad you're up and all, but our ship took heavy losses in the last engagement. Now, I can't allow you to throw a party like you did before, but as long as you don't let the crew get too drunk, if you could raise spirits and, I don't know, have a poker game or something, you can relieve some extra rations if you want in order to bet with, but do something to lift spirits down below. Magnus sighs, hearing nothing back. He's like, well, great. And he carries on. He would probably go and... so the Magos, he was... did we restrict his movements? I can't remember if we did or not.
No, we didn't.
He is currently attempting to help with repairs.
Magnus would go to the conference room, and then he'd have a message sent down to the Magos to come and speak to him in the conference room.
Okay. We'll say because of the fact that 40k ships are fucking ridiculously large, it takes him at least an hour to get to your conference room. And that is with him actually going like full on tracks mode, like wee.
He has my permission to run in the halls. I won't tell him to walk. I won't be that much of an
He's going at
asshole.
full speed through the Mechanicus tunnels.
He's going full speed in mechanical tunnels, and don't forget this guy had his legs removed with actual like small versions of tank tracks.
He's going faster than most of us can.
He is going faster than most of the servitors. Just like, whee! I unlock these things! And before he slowly rolls into your conference room, where he retracts the tracks and starts walking on 4 of his mechadendrites again.
Magos, by all means, take a position. I apologize for bringing you away from your work, but I needed to speak to you.
Very well, Inquisitor. How can I be of assistance?
I would like to know your opinion on why your organization would lock away a member of the Inquisition. Like, in your... what reasons would they have? And I do mean, like, if it's just for favors, to owe the Lord Inquisitor something, you know, these are all acceptable.
possible reasons his man could have been interred in a stasis chamber noted, he had several very high value pieces of equipment that perhaps the Mechanicus did not trust their construction of. The man had a mechadendrite, yet was not Mechanicus. Perhaps intervention by heretics, or most likely indeed, one of the more high-ranking Magos has ties to the Lord Inquisitor and was simply doing a returning favor. As far as I'm aware, the man might have actually received his mechadendrite legitimately. Personally, I do not know the mind of the Magos that actually interred him, or if that particular Magos is still alive. The records do indicate this man has been interred for at least 200 years.
Okay, fair enough. I'd like to know, what did you speak to my acolyte about?
The exquisite nature of the equipment present, the possibility of the man being perhaps a null due to the presence that was seeping past the stasis field that can still be filled, suggesting he's possibly a very high caliber null. The reasoning of why this man perhaps might have two very obvious high-ranking Mechanicus implants, considering his cybernetic eye that appears to function as a digi-weapon, not to mention the fact that his mechadendrite is of the ballistic variation. Further records pertaining this particular individual that we were able to access do reference two nicknames this man has. No, correction, three. The first being the Saint, the second being the Abyss, the third being the Harbinger.
The Saint Harbinger of the Abyss?
No, all three of these titles were separate. These are apparently nicknames given to him by either allies or adversaries that have stuck around for popular reference in circles that would be able to discuss this man's existence, though what circles that would be, I am unaware at the moment.
Thank you, that was most informative. That's a large help, thank you. My next query would be, what did my acolyte tell you about our mission?
I was told you had come here to investigate the rumors of archaeotech as well as the planet going dark, so to speak.
I would like to roll scrutiny on that.
Okay.
Do I get any advantage from peer, or is it just cancelled out?
It is cancelled out by the fact that the man has a synthetic voice and no human face.
Okay. I am going to use fate on that because, one, it's a natural
The
100.
dice really don't like you today.
Yeah, I've used up a lot of luck this week. Like, Iron Jesus has been very kind, so she's taken her vengeance somewhere else.
Don't mention it. I had to spend 5 drama points yesterday in my Buffy game.
Finally.
You are uncertain that he is telling you the full truth. He is most definitively telling you the truth, but perhaps not telling you all of it.
Magos, what did my acolyte tell you about our relationship with the Lord Inquisitor?
That you are member of a conclave he apparently heads. I was not told the express purpose of such a conclave, although assuming that records or rumors I have heard about your particular leader, if I may be so bold as to state such a terminology, would be that this conclave gathers members of many different orders of the Inquisition. I have not been made aware, nor can I truly speculate about this purpose.
I would like to roll scrutiny.
Okay. He appears to be telling the truth. But you have something in your mind is still telling you he's not telling me everything he knows. He is hiding something.
So I've already heard the result. Can I elect to use a fate point to get 4 degrees of success? Which I should have done last time. I just completely forgot that I can do it.
You cannot. I'd say you have to declare that before a roll.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Because I did use a fate to re-roll. Well, no, I didn't. So like for instance now,
For you being a Hierophant,
I could use
you can't use it for this.
Why can't he?
Hierophant is Charm, Command, and Intimidate.
If you're expressly trying to
Oh.
use that power, you can't in this situation at all.
Yeah, a Seeker. In fact, a Seeker can't do it. Scrutiny's one of the ones you can't do it to.
Oh, damn. I remembered that wrong then. Okay. So, Thank you, very much, Magos. I apologize for wasting your time, or the travel time. I, completely forgot how, far our two, areas are apart from each other.
It is no matter. My functions are more than suitable for allowing me to move quickly through vessels with Mechanicus access.
Well, by all means, Magos.
Do you have that book with you at the moment or not?
The Big Book of Evil, no, it's in my study, not the conference room.
Okay. Might I, though, mention one thing, Inquisitor?
But of course,
I do not know why he was interred, but if I could have your express permission, I would be more than willing to release him from his stasis field and bring him aboard for questioning.
Magness genuinely looks like he is pondering that. No, thank you for the offer. I am curious, but I have specific orders now to leave that particular vault unopened.
Very well, Inquisitor. I shall go see to the repairs once more. With that, he just he turns around, just ting 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 ting, and he's out of the conference room.
Magnus walks back down to where the tiller is.
Can I roll the Inquisition roll for Magness in the meantime.
Sure.
Any bonuses, penalties, or is just this flat?
What are you specifically trying to remember? I forgot.
I am trying to research who Elzek Magra was, other than the author of the Book of Evil, or whatever we're calling it.
Okay. You're trying to research a very specific Inquisitor.
I know he's Ordo Malleus, if that helps.
You know he's Automelius, that
Was.
helps. You know he has also books. You do not yet know his nicknames, because Magnus has not told you. We'll keep it to a -10.
Okay. So close. This is also without me pulling strings by Magnus's authority.
You find out his 3 nicknames, although you do not have any reference as to how he acquired these.
I mean, the Abyss. I'm an educated no. I think I can take a guess.
Are you aware that he's a no?
Well, when we entered the vault, you said that there was this very familiar feeling to me, that this was exactly the kind of thing I
think
was
they passed.
spreading around.
Some
Okay.
correctly. I think several
And-
people passed.
Yeah, and so I assumed he was a no. I don't remember if it was rollbacked, but
Sure. If you wish to make that, you are completely. You have my complete blessing to make that in character connect the dots.
I feel like Sarah would in character connect those. The Abyss, yeah, he's a psychic Abyss because there is no psychic around him.
And it's a kind of important note at character. When Felicia made the blades, they were standard pattern blades with new materials.
Xenos materials.
Non-standard materials.
And they were blades, knives. The weird part is STCs. You shove anything in them. But yeah, I can see where Magnus come from, but Felicia still disagrees.
So, seeing as Sister Sarah has her nose deep within a book, does Magnus get to Latilla's Hall of Horrors?
Sure.
Latilla, sorry, I think I said Brother Felicia's. I meant Latilla's Hall of Horrors.
You said Latilla's.
Oh, did I? Oh, okay. Never mind then. Latilla, we have an issue. Magnus steps in, shuts the door. Is anyone else in there? Or is it just Latilla and the corpses?
Shouldn't be anyone else in here. At least, if this is Latilla's medical lab, it should be only her.
So I've just spoken to the Magos.
No.
For one, he's definitely hiding things from me. But the most worrying thing is, Brother Felicia told him more than what is acceptable. She told him that the Lord Inquisitor has the Magos called the Lord Inquisitor our leader, and that his confederation of Inquisitors, well, Brother Felicia mentioned that, and I am now curious. We've already had one betrayer in our ranks, and she is not being completely honest with me. I would like you to keep an eye in case the situation changes.
Oh shit. Well, I'll keep an eye on her, but god damn it. Did she go ahead and do this? We've been together for over a year now. And she just
Several years.
She just goes on and does that easily. Jesus. Well, I expected more of her, but I'll keep an eye on her. Don't worry, Magness.
I am hoping that this is just a slip of the tongue. Felicia is not the most charismatic of people, but I would have thought she was intelligent enough to know not to mention that kind of, well, that many powerful people coming together. You don't spread that to anyone, and I feel it should be brought up.
Oh my goodness, let's hope she's just socially inept and not a traitor. Maybe her bias towards the mechanic is also what made her slip up. Maybe the Megas poked her and she broke easily. We don't know. But that does mean that we should try to keep more sensitive information, well, closer to ourselves.
I will pray extra hard to the God Emperor that this is just paranoia taking over, but I do not want the same thing as what happened with Yinka to happen again, so...
Same thing that happened to Sergeant Kroon happens again.
Magness, Latilla. For some unexplained reason, the moment Magnus says the name Yenka, you inexplicably get a bit of like the hairs on your neck stand up. And then the feeling immediately passes again.
Sorry, Magnus. Apparently I got chills just from saying his name.
Yeah. That's disturbing that you got the same.
Yep. Well, he did disappear from that planet. I gave him his last rites, gave him a small prayer, and then, well, gave him the Emperor's mercy, but his body did vanish.
Yes, another mystery that...
Keep in mind you still... his body would occasionally need a refresher because what you saw...
It hit vanished, but was still there.
Yeah, it appeared to be like it almost like it appeared almost like it vanished for like a split second and reappeared. But what was most interesting was that the body seemed to be dead longer than actually was possible after just having executed him.
Yep, that is indeed right. Sorry. I remember seeing something flash, and then the bullet hits, and then I did not remember that part, but...
I remember there was some fuckery that went on, and Magnus didn't really understand it, so he's just like, yeah.
Exactly. I do mention the body being dead longer than it should be. I do remember that. But, well, weird things did happen with him, so...
Actually, bringing that up, considering that I just recently that you are now actively reminiscing about Yenka, what would be a good memory check?
Logic's memory.
Yeah, roll logic, both of you. At a -10.
Pointless. I'm going for -5.
I'm going for 12. I wish this was willpower. At least then I would have a chance. If there wasn't the minus 30 overall because I don't have logic, I would have passed. Ah, sadness.
Fyodor theme playing.
If it was strictly intelligence, I would have passed because my intelligence is 42.
Hold
Is
on.
logic?
I'll quickly roll a dice to see if intelligence or logic would be more appropriate here because
What is
it's more.
happening?
Logic's 108 if you want to have a quick glance at what it does.
We're
What-
reminiscing about
what-
Olftain.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, not all
Yanka. I can roll
You can
logic,
reminisce about
sure.
me if you want.
You're not in that room with them, Sarah.
Ah, okay.
It's
Also, they no longer trust me.
Wait, why are we suddenly reminiscing about Yanka?
They're talking
I don't-
about him because
I don't think
I
they.
thought we were reminiscing about Alton.
Yeah, I
Would
said
logic,
that.
Or
would
was it
logic
Yannick? I
really,
don't know.
really apply? Because logic, it says here, it represents the
Yeah.
ability to think rationally and solve puzzles. I don't think logic applies at all to memory. I think it's...
all right. Let's say in this case, it's intelligence, just flat intelligence with a minus
If
10.
And
if
Latilla
it's
passes.
Flat intelligence or minus 10, my target would be 32. I would have passed.
Okay. Now that you think back to the conditions in which Ulftain died, this is specifically for you because you also did the odd. Yanka? Yeah. God damn it! Now you got me saying it wrong as well. Now, damn it.
Isn't it was Yannick and Yanka, right?
Yannick was Rogue Trader.
Yeah.
Then it goes rogue trader, Yanka. But-
So
Now because you did
Sergeant Crew.
because you did the autopsy on Yanka, you also did the autopsy on someone else who displayed the same thing. That was for Dare, who also appeared to have been dead longer than should have been possible considering his body was still moving around.
I guess this is curious. Now that now that we're talking about him, I do remember that. Well, this was years ago, but Sergeant Kroon's autopsy and not Sergeant General Vadera's autopsy showed similarities. As in, they both look to be dead far longer than they should have been.
So you surmise that this is some sort of warp fuckery of some sorts, or the other?
Unfortunately, I'm not very knowledgeable in the warp and what effect it could be, but well, the thing is, both Adair and Sergeant Kroon were all actively working for the House of Raycon. That's the first connection. Second one, I can't say for sure, but I do remember it was as if Sergeant Kroon wasn't there for an instant before the shot impacted on his head, but
It wasn't I the only one who knew that.
excuse me?
Everybody saw that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a few people walked away, and Little was your executioner, but she gave you a mercy killing. One boulder shot to the face.
I
Yeah, but
thought it
Alton
was
read his mind, so
Magness
this-
who executed Yanko.
No,
Yeah.
Magnus was going to, but Latilla was like, "No, I'm more of his friend than you are. I should do it," and it made sense. So
Actually, I think
Really?
you were more of a friend of him than Latilla was. So killing a friend is never easy.
Yinka
I don't know.
prefers the term colleagues.
Yink is
I
dead.
I liked Kroon. That's still.
Magnus tried with him. He tried so hard. He went grey.
You indeed went great.
Rip.
I don't know, Magnus. This feels weird for some reason. Remembering that now, and well, getting chills just by saying his name. Out of character, do we still get chills every time we say it, or just that one line?
The first time.
Okay. Who knows? Maybe he's still in the warp somewhere, rowing and pulling tricks in the ship, like pushing servitors down to the ground or something like that.
Well, I can definitely
That's an
imagine
often thing.
I can definitely imagine the sneaky bastard pulling some tricks in there, but well, it'll be interesting.
Can I roll? Can I roll Medicaid to know if or do I know that it is possible to clone humans?
It is possible. I mean, I would imagine Magness knows that from the guards. There's a few guard
Creep.
regiments that's made up of clones. Well, they're not clones. They're vat-born humans.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah,
about along the lines of
You are also then, if I would say so, that is also very much the Imperium is okay with vat-growing humans, but it's just the fact that if you try to clone someone, apparently always something goes wrong because the clone always turns out weird.
OCC, the one Imperial Guard regiment.
Yes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What if you could clone the body just long enough and just so that it has the same DNA as, you know, a dead body?
So out of character, it is entirely possible that a warp rift was opened up, that Kroon was pulled into the warp, a vat clone was grown and chucked out, killed and chucked out, and the time difference. It is possible. We wouldn't really know about that. I know Fabius Bile clones himself pretty bloody well, but he always replaces his brain.
Yeah, but Fabius Bile has literally had millennia to perfect his cloning.
Yes, as that as well. But yeah, as far as Imperial, I only know that the some tech priests can clone their own brains, but that was before the Heresy. Can they still do it? Maybe.
Here's the thing that I'm thinking. What if you could combine that cloning with gene stealers research? Because that's exactly what the Raycons would be doing, wouldn't it? And it doesn't you don't have to clone a perfect functioning brain. I don't think even in 40K you have the technology to actually look at a brain and know for sure it's the same brain. But if it has the same DNA, it doesn't matter.
Plausible, but I don't know if our characters would know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Latilla is holding her chin and she's thinking deeply, but
So, if I'm allowed to OCC ask, what triggered that sudden recollection of Sergeant Kroon?
They think I'm possibly turning traitor, and then it's like they don't want to know the Yanker situation, and then they said Yanker's name, and oh shit, the heads on the back of index went up.
And here I was worrying that they saw him walking down the corridor or some shit.
No, they currently think I might be a traitor because the tech priest mentioned that I told him about the conclave. Which is fake news, of course. I didn't tell him.
To be fair, Yinka didn't know about the conclave himself.
No, it's me.
But
And
No,
the
wait,
Archmage.
how would you tell Yinka about the
No,
conclave?
the Magos.
no. I'm gonna guide you through the thought process.
They're worried that you're ratting us out to the Mechanicus.
Pretty much.
There.
It's technically treachery. Technically.
Fake news. I didn't tell him.
Yet.
Hey, I'm just Phil, we're paranoid. We're gonna be paranoid. So
But you guys don't have the paranoia mentally subdue. I joke.
I'll mind this either way. Still got chills on my back, but let's just keep an eye on her. And Do we still have the Sergeant Kroon's body, or was that destroyed? I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure we don't have it, and it, unless it's in one of your vaults, I don't really know.
I think I burned him after I shot him. We were in a demonic world. Keeping a
True.
dead body wouldn't be wise. Still, this is a rather curious feeling we both had.
Yes, it is concerning that we both felt that at the same time. But... well, if he turns up again, I'll have to ask what the hell happened.
Indeed. Oh no.
Yes, I shall let you get back to your work, but
Don't worry, Magness. Your company is always enjoyed.
yes, let's
Okay.
hope my paranoia only gets worse from here on out, as Magnus kind of walks out, gesturing like taking the piss a bit about his paranoia.
She'll giggle. Get another set of gloves and go back to, operating.
Is that what she calls butchering a corpse?
She's having fun, that's what she's having, if you want to know. If you want to get technical.
Hey, she learnt the weakness of where the ball sack was. Very important.
It's not
Exactly.
alive, so she can't really check that one.
She learned the location of the ball sack on a female specimen.
Yeah, that's
I
Dark
learned-
Elder.
I learned where the genitals of a slith is,
No,
so...
can we change subjects, please? This is so wrong in so many ways.
It's not, it's fine.
Oh,
It's just little-
40K.
It's just little thinking, how can I inflict as much pain to these fucking...
Anyway,
Jesus.
moving on.
Yes, please. Let's.
Sarah.
I love me.
Well, are you going to report your findings to Magnus?
But I am.
You gotta do it in character.
Yeah. I just whenever I will catch Magnus. Magnus?
Yes, enter. I'm guessing you've come to the office,
Yeah.
the study.
So I've been looking at this Elzak Mahegara. Avoided pulling any strings for now, and I came up with nicknames, and I'm pretty sure the correlation between one of them, but it's not much. Whoever froze in there sure as hell wanted to keep his record sealed, or maybe that's just the inquisitorial secrecy. I really cannot tell at this point. But I'm pretty sure that one of his nicknames is Abyss, and I think it's connected to his null powers. It's not a lot I know, but it's all I have at the moment.
Yes, that's... Thank you very much, Sister Sarah.
Did you
This is
literally
most
just roll-
interesting.
Oh, see, did you really just roll that so I didn't know you knew already?
Yeah, pretty much. Because Magnus honestly forgot to give you the information that he learnt from the Magos. He's been going around doing so much shit. And it's like, oh, fuck. I knew I forgot something. Yes, this is, every little helps,
Actually,
Sister Sarah.
Oh,
minus...
you failed that roll because you didn't roll a 1.
Yeah, fellowship. You two count as fellowship 1 to each other.
I knew this would be useful somehow.
Actually, wait, how many points into fellowship? Because he counts fellowship 1, not his target 1.
Yeah. So just
Oh,
whatever.
then,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I've then I've yeah, because I'm only getting a +10.
So you still fail. But
Yeah, I've completely forgot about
I
that.
suppose you knew that already, haven't you?
I've had an extremely busy day. Please, if you weren't already seated, Magness gestures at a seat. So, how to explain this in a way? I've spoken to the Magos, and he has told me that Brother Felicia has given him information that I would not have given out, and I'm sure you wouldn't either. She told the Magos about the Lord Inquisitor's coalition of Inquisitors. I'm worried that her love of her organization that she should have, but she has issues with us collecting xenose equipment. I noticed this when we were collecting stuff in the space station, the shipyard. So I'm worried that she may be turning against us. So I hope you will apologize for me not informing you earlier of when I spoke to the Magos. I am hoping this is my paranoia more than anything, but I would like you, as well as Latilla, to be wary, keep an eye out.
You know, Magnus, the things we did, I hope you do realize it has been any other than myself and Latilla, other sisters, they would probably be working the best way to set you on fire right now, right? Well, all of us.
Well, remember there was a Sister of Battle, Inquisitor, at the Lord Inquisitor's confederation.
And she was not exactly pleased with his choice of methods, shall we say.
But she was still in his group. Now,
That's correct. All I'm saying is that the two of us, you've seen a very lenient side of our order, and some of our sisters would even say lacking in the devotion, perhaps.
Sister Sarah, I will remind you of this as well. We do not collect xenose equipment to use. It is not an improvement over our own. But should a vassal of the Imperium need such equipment to do research on, to test if a new type of armor, perhaps, or a new drug or serum can be used, then I would like to be able to provide the equipment so that they can test it. There are darker reasons for me keeping some of this equipment. You're an intelligent person, I believe you could work that out.
I'm not saying I'm against these actions.
What the Lord Inquisitor is doing, I am not along to... I am not going along with what he says to benefit from fruits. I wish to be there so that when this goes horribly wrong, we can be the bulwark of the defense. that we know what's going on and are prepared to deal with it. Now, we are woefully unprepared, but I have no intentions of allowing some monstrosity loose on the Imperium, but at the moment I am lost in a sea of options and choices with no allies except from who are on this vessel. And perhaps Gregorius, but even him I'm not entirely sure about.
Well, Magnus, I'm glad you at least still have your wits about you. It's true, we are unprepared. How do you even prepare for something like this?
I don't know, but I wish to find allies in this fight. I do not want to have to look upon my own people and see if they trust in my decisions. I hardly trust in my own, but I know that we cannot allow the Lord Inquisitor to carry on with no one trying to prevent what he unleashes. But there is no way we have the power alone to stop him. I mean, by the throne, how many Inquisitors were there? I mean, off the top of my head, there was at least 8. I'm but one man.
Come on, Inquisitor. Still counts for something.
Not against 8 and a Lord Inquisitor. That is why I've gone along with...
Oh, Magnus. And perhaps we need to find ourselves a Lord Inquisitor of our own.
Well, by all means, Sister Sarah. I task you with researching the Inquisition. To try and find us allies who, whilst they're not heretical and not purely puritanical, those who we can come to and at least propose the idea and see how they react.
Yeah, second one may be a bit of a tall order, but I'll see what I can do.
Thank you, Sister Sarah, and I apologize for my feeble attempt to deceive you.
Well, won't be that easy now that you're a psyker. I better go now before you ask me to research the Emperor's companions and hope of rescue.
Well, now that you say that, as the door quickly shuts.
I somehow doubt we would even be able to pass a message to Holy Terror, let alone to one of the companions.
GM, by the way, did that note from the Lord Inquisitor, did it have any reference of, like, when reinforcements were going to turn up, or...?
No. Just that you should go nowhere near the vault.
Fucking job's worth. Okay. So Magnus is in his office drinking Amasek, thinking about all the shit that's going on and how deep a hole he is in.
Goddammit, you're honest now for making me spend points for Lower Inquisition when I wanted to try and research what makes xenose and oh.
I don't think anybody knows what that is.
I mean, there is some base understanding of it.
You don't have a soul. Done.
No, like, oh, see, I know a bit, but...
But seriously, that's like all the Imperium knows.
I know it's a genetic thing, out of character. I think the Officio Assassinorum also knows that, but I'm not sure.
They have an entire order made up of gnolls.
I know.
They must know something about, you know, if these two people breed, more gnolls are created. Because otherwise, how are they reinforcing this
I don't
bloody?
even think if that's like 100% guaranteed.
Also, what they do is they go out, they find more
It's-
gnolls, they press gang them.
It's genetics. The more you crossbreed, the higher the likelihood it is, but still.
It's a very rare gene. It's a very recessive gene too.
Yeah, which makes things even worse. But again, just keep crossbreeding.
I reckon the Sisters of Silence just get artificially inseminated. And then the kids that are born, if they're male, they get chucked into the Guard. If they're female, they get chucked into the Sororitas. If they're gnolls, they stay in the Sisters of Silence.
I mean, I don't know.
If the female gnolls, they get dumped into the Sisters of Silence. If the male gnolls, they get dumped into the Dyslexic. Anyways, let's move on before we get into our just fuck discussion with inbreeding here.
Please don't. Let's switch subject.
Daenerys, no.
Anyway, does anybody else want to do some more RP? Or do we need a time skip?
If we
Can I
time skip,
roll for partying?
Roll fellowship.
Little Lou just get a message on her computer. Come now, we have booze.
Often doesn't know how to compute.
Yeah, but he is doing it. He is doing it around the ship, so I'm sure one of the scribes would have been like, I'll put a general report out, party going on. Magness apparently said it was fine.
People are unsure why the previously unconscious is trying to throw a party after so many of their brethren died. And they're kind of like, no, we just want to move on.
Felicia will alternate between Medicae to help with the wounded, get them all back on their feet sooner, and repairs so that the ship's at 100% sooner. If she's not needed for repairs, full Medicae. She will be a machine.
Yeah. Speaking of the repairs, the Magos is also helping. Several servitor stations were found back on the planet, and they were all brought up, and he has the authority to command all of them. So there's just a bunch of servitors also helping with the work now.
So, I'm sorry, could you repeat that bit? Doesn't Dylan know of that?
What, the servitors coming off of the planet?
No, that the Magos has full access to a shit ton of servitors inside our ship.
So does Felicia.
Yeah, they both have access for now, because cutting off their access whilst doing critical repairs would be extremely sketchy.
No,
So
yeah, I get it.
Cutting off their access more would be sketchy.
Okay, so
Mm.
can we move on?
Yeah.
Can.
Okay. So for the next time skip, you guys want a time skip to when the ship is repaired, or till my next plot point happens?
probably the plot point for me, because Magness is not going to open the stasis field. Hang on, I will go out of character for the group. Does anyone want to open the stasis field against the Lord Inquisitor's orders?
Yep.
So we've got one yes, one no, or as Latilla, yours a yes?
No, mine is a no. I'm straight there with you, and Latilla is even more paranoid, and she's going like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to open this up without knowing more about it.
Jazina?
I would. Sarah wants to say yes, but she really doesn't want to, openly go against the Lord Inquisitor yet.
Out of character, what do you want to do?
Out of character, I want to open it.
Okay, but in character, the decision is basically we're not going to open that shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I vote
So-
to open it.
As for the next thing, several months pass. The Tiger seems to be very busy on his own vessel until, after several months passing, There, your astropath basically immediately sends down messages like, we have multiple vessels approaching out of the warp.
Can you tell if they're Imperial or not?
I believe so, sir.
Good reinforcements here. Inform Tiger that, well, he...
Sir, hold on. I just got a message from the astropath on Tiger's ship. Apparently he called for the reinforcements.
I had hoped the Lord Inquisitor would. Though, how many vessels are on contact? By the throne, do not tell me that there is 12. Was it 12 or 22? Sorry. How many Primarchs were there? There were 12 and 12, so 24. Or was it 11?
What comes through... okay, we'll say a month. This is warp travel we're talking about. Several months, fuck it.
It took us a year to get here.
Yeah, and we've got to assume we had the good routes, because we don't know the rolls.
We have got a shit ship.
But
so.
I can make so many painting rows in this several months.
You've basically just installed your own art gallery on the planet down below, okay?
No.
You took all of the planet's paints. And I assume the planet had a lot of paints because there were nobles on it. There's always nobles on a planet.
So I was too busy looting paints. Got it.
Also, Latilla has a good replica nose. Fine.
Waste of resources.
Vanity.
It looks just like my old nose, but it has a scar.
And the area around the nose, because there were staples. A lot of staples.
Yeah, I treated myself after I got back.
Can I just point... I'll point out for a realistic reference. I've had staples in my face. The scars don't last very long.
No, but it's the sheer number of staples. Because it was like she lost her entire nose.
I didn't use those entire nose again. Okay.
Moving on. Anyways. Oh, this is also happening on the command deck where your astropath is saying this, where he came to find you. Is that the captain of the ship is also like, sir, I believe you can check for yourself the amounts of ships that just came through. As he points to the radar, suddenly showing ships appearing in system.
How many dots are there?
Are these ships Imperial standard? Do we recognize any of these ships?
They are Imperial ships.
Are they Inquisitional ships?
Are they Legionnaire ships? Has he literally brought all the remaining legions that could be spared to this shithole of a system?
It is a lot of ships. Whereas you also get a communique that apparently the Tiger has summoned the rest of his legion.
I thought we had all of the first legion with us.
No, we had like a small sizable portion, but there's so many of them that they fill up several ships.
And this is a straight-up war fleet, as far as you are aware. And one of the ships that is brought with them is an Emperor-class battleship. That appears to be the flagship. All the other ships are destroyer or cruiser-sized.
Magness says on the command deck, kind of accidentally, how angry would he be if I claimed that that ship as my own? kind of catches himself, looks around, and ignore that. Send a message to Tiger, or Tiger ship. Inform him that he has complete authority to secure this system with his legion. May the God Emperor guide him in his decisions.
Luke, I think you'll like my response character to all the ships showing up.
Okay.
Out of character, this is why I didn't want to open the Go Against the Lord Inquisitor.
Why
If
are
he
we
decides
getting-
the Legion's no longer under my command, we're so fucked.
Why are we just getting deeper and deeper with every step we take?
Because we're in the Inquisition.
Yes. Also, the Tiger comes over to your ship in a shuttle to meet you in person, and he's also ordered his own troop vessel to go back to one of the cruisers. And he's on your ship now, and he's waiting to see you.
I don't hesitate. In fact, I will go and meet him as his shuttle docks. I will make sure that I'm there to meet him.
Okay. The very large form of the Tiger walks out of his shuttle. Hi, Inquisitor. It's good that you meet me here. I assume you have seen the full might and glory of my legion.
Yes, it's quite a spectacle to behold. I must admit. I welcome aboard again, Tiger.
Of course, I also believe that you have seen what I meant with what a suitable flagship should be.
That is very true, Tiger. That is a fine flagship. The only issue is that is your flagship. And
It is your situation.
Wow.
What?
Oh, I think he's tempting you.
I think he's corrupting you right now, Magness.
Heresy.
Magness, I have one
Um,
question for you. Is your soul worth it?
Ow. I cut my ears.
I tell you, Magness is not me, so Magness is having his willpower rolled.
The Avenging Angel can be your flagship if you wanted to. You are, after all, above me in rank.
Magnus failed, so... Tiger, I have to just ask one last time, rank not included. Do you really want to give such a vessel over to me?
Truth be told, at most, personally, I'd be willing to do is share it. But Lord Electo has deemed you to be a suitable leader for my legion, and therefore I will respect his wishes. I am not one to easily go against.
God damn it, Jay. I failed my test and he's said that you can half own it, so Magnus will look up at Tiger in the eyes and Tiger, I will accept your generous offer, and only on the pretenses that we share command. I am not a naval fighter, so your Legion's input on these issues would be most useful to us. And it makes it's a tactically wise choice to be protected by a ship like that, especially as we seem to be in far darker and more dangerous spaces than I had originally imagined we would be in. So it is an honor, Tiger, and I accept your offer.
Very well. In any case, I believe it to be prudent to be informing you about the full Legion strength.
But of course, do you want to do that here, or would you prefer to be in the conference room?
I believe this should be a slightly more official mention. The fighting forces of the Legion are after all yours. Ceremoniously, I should therefore... Yes, ceremoniously, you should be told the full strength of your Legion. He basically partially leads you to your own conference room, I'd say here.
Sure, that's fine.
Do you gather anyone else to also hear this?
Latilla would be microbeaded en route, so she could be there. And no, I think Latilla's the only one who needs to know the full might of the Legion.
Okay.
Hot diggity damn. Apparently Magness just got a new ship.
What is even happening? And all of that without a single influence roll.
It works out into other things, which I only realised after. But if Magnus had succeeded, he would have been like, no, I can't do that, but I have to, no, it's too gracious.
My OC paranoia is going like, yeah, for some reason I think this is gonna come by us in the ass.
What's going on?
Probably. We've upgraded our ship.
Fuck sneaking! Makes it a much better stalking horse, though.
I didn't say I gave up my original ship. I've just upgraded.
Can I have the previous ship still to myself now?
You should call me Admiral Magnus.
Technically, you now have two ships.
It's not getting into Inquisitor levels.
It's only share owned. It's a partial own. It's, I get it 6 months, he gets it 6 months. It's an arrangement.
Anyway, once you're in the conference room, very well. The full length, the full strength of the Legion, naval-wise, consists currently of the Avenging Angel, the flagship, as well as several cruisers and destroyers. As for Legionnaire numbers, which I believe to be most important to you. The Legion, at full strength, numbers 200,000 legionnaires. We also have a complementing support force of, well, around 1 million Tempestus Scions, and of course, the standard, well, millions of guardsmen. Although I must say that the Scions and the Guardsmen have currently other occupations.
I'm only going to write down the knights for this. How many million men do I have under my command?
So, are we going on a crusade now?
Hell no, the Lord Inquisitor's got like 12 of these. No, how many Primarchs were there? There was it 12 overall?
20,
Or was it 20?
Well, 18.
20.
Oh, sorry, I'm back.
So, yeah, 18. So,
Actually, we would know, assuming we would know of every single Primarch.
except
know
from the
if you
two
would-
that were raised and
And
lost.
I think Omegon, because I think only Emperor and Alfarius knew of Omegon.
There's 18 that everybody knows about.
Yeah, so the legions. So the Lord Inquisitor still has 17 of these motherfuckers. We've only got one.
I must also with pride say that we are the largest Legion formation. The only one even coming close to us in size would be the... Hold on. Would be the 13th Legion.
Sorry, I had to leave for a bit, but how massive is the Legion?
A fucking massive.
We have 200,000 Proto-Astartes. We have
Holy.
1 million... Was it 1 million? Tempestus Scions?
1 million Tempestus Scions and about 5 million Guardsmen.
That's not enough guardsmen.
Holy
A
fuck!
crusade.
200k proto. Holy fuck! Jesus!
Don't you mean Emperor?
Sweet baby Emperor Jesus.
You just lost your sister of battle powers.
Sweet star child.
We
You
all
lost
know.
your powers
We
too.
all know that. We all know that Jesus was the Emperor. Shush.
Yeah.
No, we don't. We don't have records from that far back.
Magnus feels a little bit
Emperor.
depressed of hearing 5 million guardsmen are under his command. It's like, oh, those poor souls.
Little is just impressed.
They are mostly there to basically keep... should you attempt to conquer any planets, they're basically there to keep the planet in line. Most of the initial assault probably will be done with the Legion.
Or the guardsmen. They're guardsmen.
Do you really want to leave the Legion on the guard duty?
Oh no. We send the guardsmen in first, then the Legion over the guardsmen while the guardsmen get shot at.
The sad thing is, I was going to try and recruit better equipment for our crew. Well, now I'm fucking not. Jesus Christ. Emperor above.
By the Emperor's testicles.
I have also secretly
impressed.
requested orders from the Lord Inquisitor for you. My apologies for the secrecy involved here, But considering the last communique you sent him was apparently about a hidden vault, he deemed it more fit to send the communications to me. I hope this is understandable, Inquisitor.
May I ask if you already have a cipher set up with the Lord Inquisitor, by any chance?
I do.
Then, of course, it is absolutely fine.
We are to move our forces to an active war zone against, well, more of the Necrons. Apparently, recently, an formerly uninhabited world appears to have been a Necron tomb world and has awakened. The planet appears to have certain strategic value, but also the potential for research. Lord Inquisitor wishes that we take our forces there, eliminate the Necron threats, and attempt to obtain a Dorman gate.
I'm sorry, a what? Can I roll my general xenose knowledge?
Nope.
If I can even get close to know what that is? No, okay.
Forbidden tech.
I think he
Heresy.
only brought Latilla in.
Okay.
Wait, can I roll Heresy the War?
We're not
He
there.
only brought Latilla in.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys don't know that we have now a fuck ton of soldiers.
I didn't realise there was going to be...
take Tiger behind the shed and execute him.
I think we need to take the Lord Inquisitor behind the shed.
Small steps. Okay, baby steps.
Yes. First, try to take out the dude that's quite literally larger than your average Astartes.
Then take down the super heretic.
As opposed to a fucking angel on demand.
Yeah, it's easy. We just throw nulls at him.
Present. Give me more XP.
Oh, we don't need you. We'll just requisition Sisters of Silence. We have the influence.
This
You-
fucker desire rating 0. Give it enough XP.
You do realise he had Sisters of Silence working for him at the machine,
Grey Knights.
staring at it.
I'll just bring in Grey Knights.
Next time we go and see him, I bet your right testicle that he's got a Grey Knight sat there going, "Yes, Lord Inquisitor, you are quite brilliant."
He doesn't need to. He has his Black Knights.
So we are to capture a piece of Xenos tech. Huh.
Specifically, this may require some explanation. We have met both specimen of the Eldar and the Necron species so far, so this should not be, well, possibly. The Imperium uses warp travel. The Eldar use what they call the webway, which
And
is
the Necrons?
the Necrons hijack the webway for use of these Dolmen gates. Essentially, as far as I am told, a Dolmen gate is essentially a breaching tool into the webway. I can only assume the purpose that we are meant to acquire one is because the Lord Inquisitor wishes to launch several assaults against the Eldar race. We are currently unaware how many webway portals the Eldar race has scattered throughout the Imperium. It would be most prudent that we be able to find out where these are and if we could perhaps find their mobile headquarters. Stopping the Eldar would be a highly valuable target, or perhaps even discovering where the Dark Eldar have their lair, amongst various myriad other uses, such as finding other Necron strongholds. Acquiring this tool will give us a significant tactical advantage, as well as a strategic advantage. I believe it is that why the Lord Inquisitor has deemed the most glorious First Legion under your command and mine to claim one.
So, we're here to do the small shit, huh? Until it says. It's like, oh god. This isn't going to be easy, is it? If this is as important as you say, you're probably in for one hell of a fight.
We are approaching an we will be approaching an active tomb world. Safe to be said, the planet will be crawling, quite literally, with Necrons.
When you say crawl, oh no, wait, I'm not there. Never mind.
Okay, well, I would like to, considering this is more than the meeting that I was expecting, you'll have to forgive me, Tiger. I will call in some of my other acolytes to assist in this. They'll need to know what they're researching. Also, when we move over to our new ship, and Magness does gesture when he says our, like motions to Tiger, I would like you to vehemently demand that whichever engine seer you have promoted to highest rank, that he remains on duty. Allow it to be a secret that I have, for my reasons as to why, but
Very well, Inquisitor.
excellent. That solves one problem. Magness asks if he wants anything to drink or eat whilst we wait for the others to get here, and then Magness will calm the others and tell them that we have mission orders to please come to the conference room as quickly as possible, and bring data slates and books on Necrons.
Right. Does this include the Magos and Latilla's second in command?
Not the Magos. The second in command will be up to Latilla.
Yeah, Ted, I'll inform Ted. Actually, the thing is, I trust Ted, but I'm gonna keep him in the dark of whatever he doesn't need to know. So I'll ask Ted to be nearby, but I'll ask first Magnus if he thinks we trust Ted enough to let him in. He did help us way back when we started this, but
For now, no. He doesn't need to know that we will be personally going after something. His duty is to protect the ship. Although we won't be on this vessel anymore, and I doubt the Storm Child, was it? Tiger's the Emperor class.
And the Emperor class is called the Avenging Angel.
Oh, Avenging Angel, sorry. I doubt the Avenging Angel has much use for And to be sorry, Latilla, but you'll probably lose your chief of security. But
Bringing him in as well, our god, if it has to be.
well, he could, if you don't mind, he could be chief of security for this vessel. It's still going to be mine. It's still ours. It's still.
Yeah, I could always keep. That isn't the true. I could always keep him here. It's good to have eyes on. It would be good to keep eyes on this ship too.
It's entirely up to you what you do with him, but I don't think he needs to know that we're going down there to acquire this tech.
I agree. It's probably best if he doesn't know. I'll tell him whatever he needs to know about what we're going to be facing, but I'll keep it to need to know basis.
Excellent. Magness is already preparing for the earful he's going to get from Felicia about claiming some xenose tech. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
She's not going to give you an earful, she's just disappointed. That's pretty much all she does, she just gives you a look that's disappointed. She knows now that you're just not going to listen. It's like when you look up to someone and then they don't live up to it.
Joy.
She'll understand why. She understands on some level why you're taking the guns. The thing that's kind of annoying though is you've left them with the ammo. Some of the guns are probably, even if they're not loaded, the ammo's stored in the same place. And on top of that, some of the guns still work.
I mean, where else would you keep the ammo if not near the guns?
Away from the gun, so if someone gets the gun, they can't shoot it.
Yeah, but the guns are hidden.
I did say that they're locked away in a very safe place where they can't just be stumbled upon.
Indeed.
Alicia remembers the assassin. She also remembers Yenka.
Still, there are far easier places where you can grab weapons, especially weapons that only a few select people on the ship know about.
Yeah, but lasguns aren't a threat.
Technically, only 2 people know where they are. The other one's a robot servitor thing.
Yeah, robot servitor which she doesn't trust.
Technically, Felicia doesn't even know where they're stored, although it probably wouldn't be that difficult to find out, but still.
Yeah, one thing you'll probably notice is she probably installed the room.
I mean,
She doesn't know it's in there, but she knows the room exists.
maybe not.
You didn't build the ship. If there are secret, stashes from the rogue trader vessel, then they were there before we got here.
That isn't also true.
So can we say that that the others get caught up so they know everything that we know, that we're going to this world for the Necrons and we need to get this tech and defeat them?
Yes. Yes, you do.
It's like if you don't actually give her a reason to think otherwise, we're claiming the gate is to destroy it. It's when you just suddenly don't destroy it and then be like, yeah, we're just keeping this. She gets worried.
So you'd need to mention that, because like if you mention it, well, are you going to mention, are we going to destroy it or keeping it?
No. She might be disappointed in you, but she still trusts you.
Surely you could roll intelligence to figure out you don't send people down to the street. You just blow it from orbit, or like we have to we have to go down and capture it. Like the Tiger didn't mince words.
The Necrons, as two of them, actually 3 of them, came through the wall of a hangar bay. We're gonna need people to capture it, because she doesn't think sustained fire from orbit will work.
So let me be clear, Tiger. We are to break the siege upon this tomb world, or at the very least, attack this tomb world, find this device, and claim it for the Imperium. I don't see how that's gonna be. Do we have more forces coming in from outside of system to aid us with the battle in the stars and on the ground?
They shall not be needed.
Oh, I pray that we
Word
had
of
it
the
as
Tomb
it is
World
here.
has awoken is only recent news. I am very much confident that the rest of the Imperium has not yet been made aware that it has awoken. The Lord Inquisitor wishes to acquire this dormant gate before the rest of the Imperium can respond, most likely with exterminatus measures. This is a chance that we cannot pass up. It would seem that this gate is vital for his plans.
Tiger, are you positive? I know your legion is strong and large, but are you sure they can take on what I can only presume would be attacking a fortified planet of the Imperium? I don't have any reference for...
It is... Prior to its awakening, it was merely an uninhabited, blasted world. There are no buildings other than the Necrons on there, and those have only recently emerged from the underground.
I see. So we're hoping, with the God Emperor's grace, that we can get there before they have rallied their entire force to the defense.
Indeed. And taking their Dolmen Gate will surely cut off their supply lines as well, allowing the rest of the Imperium, when they finally respond, to be able to take them out with more ease.
I can already see what Sister Sarah is going to say when she finds out.
I think they're all here. Magness called them all to come with
Oh.
books and...
Oh wait, they're already here? Okay then, never mind. If they're all here, literally just going to look at Sarah and wait. She's bound to say something.
Who's bound to say what?
Yeah, you're all in the conference room now. Magness microbead you all to be here. Bring books about Necrons.
Do we even have any?
Probably not.
Not really. No.
You'd have been lucky if Felicia had looked up what the Mechanicus have on them, which isn't much. Because it's all marked as ridiculously sealed, Magos Juris banned, Inquisitorial banned, and occasionally it's Imperial tech.
I don't think we brought back any of the...
We did.
We brought back some
Did we?
Necron guns.
Ooh,
And I
no,
have
no,
one of their heads.
Hmm.
I claimed it as a trophy. Out of curiosity, has anything happened with that? Like, it's in Magnus's office. Like, it is at the moment. It's probably in his desk drawer, and he just opens it up every now and then. And it's just like,
Little do you know, that head has taken over the ship. The ship is not all Necron.
I want to put it in a flask, so it's like that thing off of Archer's art, where he's got a Necron head in a... I thought, shit, that looks really cool for an Inquisitor to have. just haven't got around to, like, putting it in the jar yet. Well, if these are our orders, then we shall carry them out. I only hope that our intel is right, and when we get there, this tomb world is mostly dormant.
Well, I think we should head over there, expecting to find heavy resistance. It's safer that way, and it's probably gonna save a few lives.
This is a bad idea.
So, Sister Sarah, did you want to send that astropathic message to the Lord Inquisitor? Magness smiles at you, takes out a glow stick, lights it.
Yes, I am sure I would sway him to abandon this suicide mission.
Oh, I'm sure the Emperor would help you out on that little crusade you'd have to go on. How long will it take to get to this system, Tiger? Assuming best warp travel and all that.
The warp is fickle. But my navigators tell me it would take no longer than a year.
Well, I'm not going to see Gregorius anytime soon. Okay. Well, I guess we should make way, I guess. It will take some time to transfer supplies and materials, belongings over to your ship, but we will do it with all haste. Everyone, pack up your gear. We'll be moving.
I'm going to look. No, I'm gonna wait.
Very well then. Sign of the Omnissiah and leave.
Well, Magnus, I think I'm gonna need a room attached to a medical element on your ship, and also she looks the one. Says she's the only one. She and Magnus are the only one left. I also need that compartment.
Yes, use whatever resources you deem necessary in order to get that particular compartment emptied out, and you have my permission.
If you were discussing the synthesis model aboard the ship, I am aware that it is there.
No, the xenose weaponry we've been claiming for Imperial purposes. For one, Sister Latilla, I would like you to look at the Necron weapon that we claimed.
Well,
I would
You
like.
claimed Necron weapons.
Yes, I had.
Understandable, so has my legion.
I had hoped that we could learn something from it. Whether that be how quickly it goes through armor, or
Quite quickly.
it'd be quite useful to know if there's a way to turn their weapons against them. Perhaps I believe I heard the Mechanicus speak of it, a haywire field. Perhaps that would have an effect on the weaponry, or perhaps them themselves. We should spend this time preparing and, well, Brother Felicia's gone, so experimenting.
I'll make sure that I get something from Sarah for a little bit.
Tiger, I would ask that my interrogator here, Latilla, she is to be given quarters plus a highly secure vault stroke armory to secure these goods in. I would also like for her to have a tech priest who is willing to poke and prod these devices to find out how we can best prevent them from their use. My current acolyte is having difficulties coming to terms with what I wish of her. So I do not want to, how was the best word? I don't want to boil the water, you know. I want to just let it cool, simmer off, and try and approach it from a different angle.
I'll also need a room where I can install a medical facility right next to my room, please.
Very well, such things can be arranged. Now, I will take a shuttle to our new flagship, and I will see you there within the week, I hope, after which we can depart.
Excellent.
The Tempestus Scions will be joining our assault. As for the rest of the guard forces, they will make sure that the surrounding systems have a potent defense force should the Necrons attempt to attack.
Excellent. That seems like a wise battle plan.
I shall take my leave. Also, as far as the synthesis subject is concerned, as long as you do not march it around the serfs their quarters, the Legionnaires would have no issue seeing it.
For now, I will assign it to Latilla, and she can be in charge of how it is stored. But please respect Tiger's wishes.
I shall now make my leave.
Magness gives him a very respectful bow, and
He makes the sign of the Aquila.
yes.
Yes. Okay. Tiger leaves, and even though this is earlier than usual, this is where, for the general public, we will be ending the session.
Ooh. Well, that has left many, many answers, and has only answered a few of my questions, but at the very least, Magnus will feel less paranoid. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I know I enjoyed being a part of it, and I'd like to thank Jay for doing this for us. If you did enjoy, well, I hope you come back next time. So, take care everyone, and as always, bye-bye for now.
Normal XP.